Smackdown. It's a Smackdown. I'm gonna smack down on you with a Smackdown review. Smackdown. It's a Smackdown. I'm gonna smack down on you because it's a Smackdown review. Smackdown live, and we're live for WrestleRamble. I am Luke Owen. This is Chopper Pete Quinnell. Over there is Randy Andy Datson, who's going to be manning your super chat. So get those across to him. Just realised that the screen's flipped around on the camera, so I'll keep looking at that. And this episode is, of course, sponsored by the WrestleTalk Almanac. Head on over to WrestleTalk.bigcartel.com and get your copy of the WrestleTalk Almanac Volume 2. It is stacked full of stats.
Stacked.
It is. So there are stats out the wazoo. So if you like your stats, the WrestleTalk Almanac is definitely for you, poets, mate. And also the first, I think it's the first few hundred people that order their copy, get a signed photo of me and Ollie, hand-signed, no less. I was there doing them last week. And
I saw it.
Yeah, and it's, you know, if that sort of thing tickles your fancy, can't imagine it's for everyone, but if that sort of thing tickles your fancy, then head on over there. It's WrestleTalk.bigcartel.com. But now, let's talk about this week's SmackDown Live. Now, you and I haven't actually had a chance to talk about this yet, because you watched it after I did. You watched it after you got into work, in fact.
Indeed.
I thought this was a pretty terrific show.
I thought it was fine.
Yeah?
It was all right, yeah. It had a pretty good beginning, very good ending. Some of the stuff in the middle was a bit, but overall, pretty good. I
thought it was better than okay. I thought it was actually pretty terrific, mostly because of this man right here, because of Kevin Owens.
Oh yeah, he was great.
Kevin Owens was absolutely superb on this show, because the show opened with Dolph Ziggler arriving. Instantly, I'm like,
yeah,
fucking Dolph, you're still here. And like Kayla Braxton walks up. Apparently, actually, Dolph has said in an interview that he's sticking around for a bit, so I don't know why I'm surprised.
That's unfortunate.
Anyway, Kayla Braxton approaches him to talk about the Kevin Owens situation from last week, where Kevin Owens turned babyface by attacking him, and Dolph said that he's a tub, and I was carrying him just like I've been carrying this company, yada, yada, yada. And then Owens arrives by like honking his horn, being like, get out of the way, get out of the way, that's like in a parking lot. And he gets out, and they get into an argument, and Owens just starts throwing these punches, and they get into this big pull-apart brawl. Shane comes out there, there's lower mid-card geeks out there to kind of like keep them apart. Shane tells Owen to leave, and then we cut backstage, and Shane, because this was obviously earlier today, we cut backstage, Shane is with Not Renee, and apparently the main event of the show was meant to be Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler, but Shane has now cancelled that main event because he sent Owens home. And everyone's like, oh, boo. But then, all of a sudden, Owens just walks out. Owen walks out, and he starts cutting this promo. And it was a wicked promo.
It was so good. There was so much passion and fire behind this promo.
Yeah.
Where he just starts screaming down the microphone that Shane needs to hear the truth. And he talks about all the things that the fans have been upset about. He basically is our voice now, and saying that they cut that, all the McMahons came out and said that they were going to start listening to the fans, and all that's happened is Shane McMahon has been given more power, and he's taken up more TV time. And he starts screaming and yelling and throwing the bits off the commentary table, and he's all fired up. And Shane McMahon comes out and tries to cut off his microphone, and he keeps shouting out, and he's saying, cut off his mic, stop him talking. Owen still keeps going, and still just keeps ranting and raving, saying, like, you call yourself your best in the world, and that's a slap in the face to the whole roster that breaks their backs every week and all that stuff. Eventually, his mic kind of gets cut out, and he grabs a different one and starts again, jumps on the commentary table and keeps talking. It was awesome stuff. And Shane was there with, like, all the tech guys on the side, just trying to figure out how to mute his microphone, which was awesome. And then after that one gets cut off, he picks up Byron Saxton's headset and just carries on. Obviously, the crowd can't hear that, but the viewers at home most certainly can. And he starts listing off all these people that we haven't seen on TV. And he's like, you're taking up TV time from guys like Buddy Murphy, from guys like Asuka, Kairi Sane, AOP, Apollo Crews, and starts listing all these guys. We're like, oh, yeah, you're quite right. He is taking up all the TV time from these guys. It was fantastic. Eventually, Shane managed to get out some security guys, and then he said, make sure he stays out in Evans? Not Evans, thank God.
Her as well.
Yeah, her as well. Owens runs off through the crowd and escapes, essentially.
It was such a good promo. And it's the sort of promo where, and I kind of expected this, a few people have messaged me going like, do you think it was unscripted? Like, do you think he went off script? He was like, absolutely not. This is 100% scripted. It's 100% signed off by Vince McMahon. But it's where Vince does often find there's sort of like modicums of brilliance in there, where he essentially just gets a wrestler to go out and vent the frustrations of the fans, but through a wrestler. He did it with CM Punk, and he did it perfectly with CM Punk when CM Punk cut that promo about his frustrations with the company, which were his frustrations, but everything in that promo had been signed off by Vince. It was written by him and Vince. And this is one of those things where it felt like it was written by the wrestler and Vince. And they sort of came together and to basically say, that promo you cut in December where you said, we're the authority and things are going to change, was a load of balderdash because nothing changed. The show is exactly the same. It is only now we just have more Shane. Shane is over every single show. He's in main event storylines as if he's the biggest heel on the roster, when actually there are people that should be given a chance that could be on TV. Buddy Murphy, week 13 we're into now of him not being featured on SmackDown, and no, that YouTube promo doesn't count. It's 13 weeks of no Buddy Murphy. That is insane. In which case, what was the point of taking him off 205 Live? If you had no plan to use him on SmackDown, you may as well have just kept him on 205 Live, where at least he'd be able to, I don't know, wrestle and be in front of crowds and this, that, and the other. Like, wait until you've got to... Anyway, we've got off topic there. But I thought this was a wicked promo. As you said, very fiery. Yeah. Felt like someone venting their frustrations. And because it felt like it was the voice... You could almost call him the voice of the voiceless. You could. Because he was channeling a lot of what WWE fans like you, I, Randy, everyone in this office, and a lot of people who are watching this show have. It warms you even more to him as a babyface. I'm so more into Kevin Owens as a babyface now than I was when he was hanging out with his kid at the cinema or when he was hanging out with the New Day. This Kevin Owens could save SmackDown. Because SmackDown has been pretty rubbish since the wild card. For sure. And it's got steadily worse because it just started to become a Raw replay show. This is the sort of thing that if this is a SmackDown only act, I can see people getting behind it massively. Absolutely, yeah. I think the only slight criticism I have of this promo is that it's a WWE promo talking about all the problems that WWE has. The solution to this would be just don't have the problems, and then you wouldn't need to have a promo like this. It's always strange to me that you have a guy pointing out all the problems of the company that he's working for, and that company wrote it. So they know that they have these problems. They know what the fans are thinking, but they just don't fix it. Oh, yeah. And there's that part of me that's like, this is a really great promo, and I'm so invested in Kevin Owens, but like, just don't have Shane then. If you know that's the problem. There's just that part of me that just reminds me that like, yeah, WWE, you're really screwing up right now. Stop doing that. But it's, I brought this up on, I think it was a podcast intro that me and Ollie did. A friend of mine sent me a message that 7 years ago he had posted, so Vince McMahon has come out on TV and admitted that the product is rubbish and they're going to have to do much better in order to turn things around. He was like, that was 7 years ago. Fast forward 7 years, Vince is cutting the exact same promo. Every now and again, you just get these promos where wrestlers come out and say like, well, this is a bit rubbish. And they're company-written promos. I guess some things just will never change. But I will say that it does kind of work for me sometimes, though. Like this in particular, when Owens does it, because he has got such a good voice and such good delivery with his promo, I totally buy into the words that he's saying. When I'm listening to it, it doesn't feel like this is a Vince McMahon scripted thing. This is Kevin Owens venting his frustrations. So for me, that worked. I actually have a slightly different criticism of it, though. My criticism of it is that by doing this promo, well, Kevin Owens has now fallen into the thing that he was criticizing in this promo. His big criticism of WWE is too much Shane, and now he's feuding with Shane. Yeah. So Shane is now involved with The Revival, Elias, Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, The Undertaker, Kevin Owens, and Dolph Ziggler now, because Dolph Ziggler got pulled into the mid-card vortex. Yep. Shane McMahon's Omni-Shane. So that's like, there's 7 or 8 people there that he's currently involved with or feuding. Oh, The Miz is another one. Miz. So it's like 8 or 9 people that he's feuding with or is currently involved with. That's too many people for Shane McMahon to be involved with. And Cedric Alexander? Question mark. Maybe Cedric's in there. Maybe Gary comes back. We can get another person there. It's too many people to be involved in a Shane McMahon storyline. One Shane McMahon storyline where he's the central focus. I mean, it makes this promo correct because there is way too much Shane and you have all these things that you can quite clearly see Shane is taking up way too much TV time, but
Shane's taking up way too much TV time, so stop doing that.
He's taking up too much TV time, so we're going to give him another feud. I'm not sure that's the answer, to be honest, but
I think this happened recently when Miz came out and cut a not exactly the same promo, because I don't think he doesn't have quite the same fire that Owens does. It didn't quite come off quite the same. But he came out and he said, "It's enough of Shane. We've had way too much Shane." And then he comes out and shows a slow-mo replay of Shane McMahon doing something stupid, and it's like, "Oh, look at Shane, isn't he funny?" It's like, you were just complaining there's too much Shane on the show, and now you're showing us more Shane. Stop doing that.
They're Shaning us more show.
Yeah. Anyway.
And the main event of the show was changed from the Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler into Dolph Ziggler versus Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was on SmackDown this week. I know, right?
A SmackDown star on SmackDown?
Yep. And thank you to Randy Eddie Datson for sending us across this information. The last time Roman Reigns was on an episode of SmackDown was May 28th. It's a month and a half where he essentially didn't show up on the show that he's meant to be on. Fun fact for you, the last time Finn Balor was on TV was, wrestling at the very least, was May 14th.
Oh my God.
It's 2 months.
That's
Your
so
Intercontinental Champion was not featured.
He had one match at Super Showdown, but on SmackDown, that's the last time he wrestled.
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
It's really bad.
Anyway, so the match was Roman Reigns versus Dolph Ziggler, and actually, the other thing I will praise about this main event is they did the entrances, then they went to an ad break, and then the match started.
Well done.
It's not that hard. It's really not that difficult. There was no nonsense restarting of a match because of some outside interference. They just scheduled the intros and the ad breaks and the match. Lovely stuff.
On this episode of SmackDown, there was not 1 2 out of 3 falls match. There wasn't an elimination match. There were just matches.
Although I'm going to have a pop of the triple threat because that was very dumb. But we'll get to that in a second. But this was your standard match. The Omni Shane got involved because Drew and Elias were at ringside and they pushed Roman into the post, and Dolph worked him over for a long time. And then Roman started making a comeback. He's punching Elias. He does a big dive onto all 3 of them. And then Kevin Owens runs out from the crowd and he stuns Shane McMahon. Roman gets in, spear to Dolph. He gets the win. It was a really chaotic and fun ending to the show, and the crowd were massively into everything. They were so into Kevin Owens stunning Shane, and they were so into Roman winning and Roman overcoming the odds. I thought the crowd was great. I thought the structure of the match at the end was very, very good. I thought it was a bit of a home run segment, actually.
Yeah, I think the match that preceded it was fine. Mm-hmm. I was a little bit bored towards the end.
It's what you would expect.
Yeah. But then Roman started making his comeback. The crowd started getting into it. And then you had Shane McMahon trying to run distractions, and then it led to like a super kick onto Reigns. And then Owens comes out and everyone goes mental. And yeah, it was a great ending to the show. And
it just makes me think that Kevin Owens could be a top babyface.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like he was always going to be pushed as a top babyface, but whether or not he could find a way to connect to the crowd. But this is a way of connecting to the crowd, and he really has. But through that promo and through his actions at the end of the show, it really felt like he was connecting to the crowd on a way that I didn't think that he would do as a babyface, because he's such an effective heel. Obviously, he's a great babyface as well, but I didn't. Like, this was almost. I don't go too far, but if you can continue this wave of momentum, this is Becky Lynch levels. Mm-hmm. This is Kofi Kingston levels of people really getting into someone.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, obviously.
And obviously, I think the comparisons are there between him and Stone Cold, just with his actions from this week. Not in terms of popularity or anything like that yet, but just from his actions this week of going against the authority figure, coming out and stunning him, even though he's been, barred from the building, and then running off afterwards. That's awesome. Keep doing that. People love Stone Cold, and I think they'll like. I mean, people were comparing Becky to Stone Cold as well.
Yep.
If you can get some of that, not exactly, rinse repeat of exactly the same stuff, but if you have elements of that kind of popularity from Stone Cold, I think people are going to catch on, and Owens will catch on and become a top babyface.
Absolutely. I thought it was a very, very fun show. I'm really into Kevin Owens at the moment, and I thought their show-long storyline was a lot of fun. But let's see what you have to say in them super chats.
Yes, we will, and we are not starting with Tim Arndt, unfortunately.
Slacking.
But he is the 4th one.
Oh, Tim. Come on, mate. Buck up your ideas, lad.
What are you playing at? But we are starting with Jobber JJ, one of our very frequent super chatters who says, KO is back, baby. Is he the mainstream answer?
Possibly.
Yeah, I mean, there's...
He might.
You don't know who's going to catch fire.
No.
Straight fire.
And
So he could do.
And I think he's one of those guys that he can connect with a lot of people because he's naturally very funny. He's got a look that a lot of people can relate to. He's very easily connectable with a lot of people. So I think, yeah, he could be.
There are always going to be those people, though, that don't like him because he does not look like a typical wrestler. I'm doing big air quotes for podcast listeners.
Yeah, but I don't agree with that at all.
Neither do I.
Because he carries himself like a wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter if you have the look or not, because he carries himself like a star.
Yeah,
and that's all that matters.
Absolutely.
But he's got little grey hairs in his beard now. I don't know if you saw that.
Very stressed out, you know, with
Yeah.
all the Shane stuff.
Oblivious Kari says, Kevin brings life to the worst story in one night.
I don't think this is the worst story, though, because we've
No.
also got Bailey, Nikki Cross, and Alexa Bliss.
Correct. That's the worst
And that is
story.
the worst story. It's also not the blandest story, because I'm still giving that to Ember Moon and Fire and Desire.
Is
Sleeper
that
story
still
that is.
happening?
Oh, apparently so,
Yeah.
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 But I do agree with you that he actually did inject some life into this. Because bearing in mind, he's not involved in Extreme Rules.
See, the thing is now, I really want to see a Shane Kevin Owens match at SummerSlam, but I don't think that's what we're going to get, because I think it's going to be Shane Roman. But
Could, maybe. Oh, but I
maybe.
You know what? We were joking that they were going to extend out Roman versus Shane to Survivor Series.
Oh, God.
Maybe this is the way they do it, by actually doing Shane Kevin Owens at
And then
SummerSlam.
Shane has to
instead.
win, though, for that.
Well, yeah, but would you rather that or him win the WWE Championship?
He's not going to win the WWE I don't know where this is coming from.
Jobber JJ again says, KO laid the smackdown on Shane McMahon.
Certainly did.
That he did.
That he
yeah,
did.
Great.
Tim Arndt, where have you been, Tim? Says, won't be super chatting much for the rest of the week. Money's running low, but I still love you guys. He says he's getting paid on Friday.
Oh, mate, I mean, you donate more than you really should do. But
Seriously,
thank
money is running low, please stop
doing
donating.
this.
Please.
Thank you very much.
You aren't obliged to do it.
Yeah, there you go.
Stop.
There you go. Timothy Jones says, I want to believe KO's words were a shoot, not a work.
I'm afraid there was a
I mean,
work.
you can believe it.
You can believe it, absolutely.
but-
But that's the key to it. Is you're supposed to believe
Yeah.
that it's a shoot.
Exactly, yeah.
But
Yeah.
like the pipe bomb, it was all a work.
You can believe anything you want.
Yeah.
Jonathan Hedman says, good day, everyone. Hello,
Good day.
Hello.
Jonathan,
Good
the
day.
headmaster. Please stop changing your name on the Wrestle League. Keeps flitting between headmaster and the brain, and he seems to forget every single time which one he's done. But I keep making sure you get the right points.
Oh, thank you
Will
very
the
much.
Professor says, if KO, Shane, and Taker drew at SummerSlam, who is the opponent for Reigns? Love you guys from North Carolina. P.S. My 5-year-old daughter loves Ollie.
Can you read
That's
that
nice.
question again? You flubbed
Yes.
it. I couldn't quite make
I
out what
didn't.
it
I
was.
read it as it's written, but I think what he means is if it's KO Shane and Taker Drew at SummerSlam,
right, okay.
who's Reigns facing?
Interesting. That's a good question. Who else is he feuding with? Maybe it's him and Kofi.
Maybe it's him and Miz.
I was saying
Send that one out.
I'm gonna say it's him and Kofi. Maybe he gets the big win at Extreme Rules, and that sets him up for the next WWE Championship picture. Yeah, I mean, you want your biggest stars in their biggest matches.
Otis.
So, yeah, Roman Kofi for the title.
Fair
That's fine.
enough. Jobber JJ says, I felt differences between Raw and SmackDown live this week. Yes.
Well,
there
yeah,
were.
I mean,
Yeah.
one was good, the other one wasn't. But to be honest, I mean, you say differences, they're still the exact same shows.
Yeah.
It's just that this one was actually enjoyable and Raw wasn't.
And the Great says, who are your top 5 promos of the last decade? And even though Enzo had a short run with his mic skills were amazing, he didn't even need one sometimes. So the last 10 years.
Last 10
we
years.
can't do-
Punk,
Yeah. obviously.
Cena,
Yeah. Heyman.
Heyman, Owens,
Owens,
Zayn.
yeah.
I'll go with
Yeah.
those. Becky, put in there.
Johnny Gargano.
I would-
Adam
Charlotte.
Cole.
I wouldn't put Becky up there, honestly.
Ciampa, Cole.
There's so many.
Yeah. some
No
pretty
way,
good promos.
Jose. Caleb Maldonado says, you can now buy that Miz Dad t-shirt on the WWE shop.
Or, I mean,
Can you?
I refuse to believe that because that would be a good T-shirt, and I do not think that is WWE Shop's business model. They are not in the business of making good T-shirts.
We will do 3 more for now. Wilson Simon says, something that was popular on YouTube about 2 months ago was tier lists. Would you guys ever make WWE tier list vids?
No.
What's a tier list?
So it's when you rank something from like F
Oh,
to
like a tier, not like a
no,
crying
no,
tier.
not a tier.
Right,
a
okay.
Tier
Yeah,
list.
we're gonna make you list and make you cry.
Well, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but no, we wouldn't do that because there's way too many wrestlers. It would take way too much time, and no one would probably watch it.
Yeah, I mean, and really, you're not going to beat that crisp one that Channel 5 was.
That's true.
Which put squares at the worst position when, as everyone knows, they're the best.
We will be doing something similar though on the website, so
There you
keep
go.
an
So
eye
Nice.
on
WrestleTalk.com.
that.
WrestleTalk.com will do it.
Louise Marie.
Really, let's be honest. WrestleTalk.com is where you go to get good content. From
Exactly. Louise Marie says, it's good to be back after a long mental health break. You guys helped me through a lot of bad stuff. Nothing but love for you all. Well, welcome back, Louise, and I'm glad to hear that you are feeling better.
There's
Yeah,
a big old
that's
thumbs up for you,
awesome.
Louise. That is
Always
awesome
take a
news.
break if you need
Thank
one.
you very much.
Absolutely.
So it's
Lots of
great
hearts
to
go
have
out
you
to you.
back. But we will always be here.
Yes.
Will Adams is who is Luke Owens' #1 fan? Says Kevin Owens said what we were all thinking last night.
Yes,
That
and
he
that's,
did.
and that's why it worked so well.
That was
Yeah.
the point.
really why it worked so well.
And lastly, B. Thank you for your double donation.
Thank
you
you.
are very kind.
Thank you.
And now we will get on with the rest of the show.
Yes, let's crack on into
Yep.
words, mate. Into the SmackDown review. So we had all of the Kevin Owens stuff that started the show, but our opening contest was Finn Balor versus Shinsuke Nakamura, a match that had been set up a couple of weeks ago. Some people thought it was just being set up for the Japanese tour. Ended up actually, it's a long-term storyline. So thumbs up to that. Very
Yay.
happy with that. And Nakamura had this promo before the match, like it was a sort of an inset promo, where he talked about that he's now on his own. He's no longer part of a tag team. He's going back to being a single star. Don't know what that means for Rusev, who apparently is on the out.
Yep.
His contract is up soon.
Yep.
I don't think he's going to be re-signing.
No.
Um,
Probably not.
He is someone who's been very vocal about his frustrations. So yeah, I can't imagine that he'll be one of those people that re-signs when they get offered a nice big money contract like Gallows and Anderson did. Not to say that that's wrong, just saying that they were the people that did sign. Whereas someone like a Moxley was like, not even going to look at it, don't want it.
Yeah. You know what I'd love to see?
What's that?
Rusev in New Japan.
I
I think it'd be great.
To be honest, I'd like to see Rusev anywhere.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Rusev wrestling anywhere. And Balor also had an insert promo which was significantly worse than Nakamura's.
It wasn't great, was it?
And I don't blame him. This is all down to the writing because this writing is absolutely rubbish. Where he said, Nakamura is an artist. He's an artist who paints pictures of chaos. Oh, a load of garbage that is.
It's bad.
That was very bad, yeah. We got
Slam poetry.
this got the shrink screen treatment where they wrestled in the outbreak. Balor makes his comeback. But really, Nakamura won this match. The key to it is that not only did Nakamura win, he won convincingly.
Really convincingly.
Very, very convincingly won. He took him onto the outside. He nearly got Balor counted out. They both nearly got counted out. He hit a Kinshasa on the outside and didn't get counted out again. And then Balor rolls into the ring, gets hit with a Kinshasa, and Nakamura pins him.
Yeah.
Like, this was an absolute dominating performance by Nakamura, but it was something that was really needed.
Absolutely. It was really needed on Nakamura's part, and it was something that felt different in the match as well. It wasn't your typical formulaic match where heel works over face, face comes back, last 30 seconds is the finish. This was Nakamura taking Balor to the outside and trying to get a count-out victory. He was like, I'm going to beat you up a bit, and I'm going to go back in the ring. Oh, he got in at 9. I'll take him back out again. Beat you up a little bit, throw you into the barricade, throw you into the steps. Go back in the ring. Oh, you're back in at 9. Cool. Kinshasa on the outside. Ooh, just back in at 9. Kinshasa again. All right, fine. I'll just win in the ring then. Fine.
I particularly liked on that second count-out attempt, he stayed on the outside with him. So, like, he was beating him up, being like, well, if he gets back in at, like, 9 previously, I'll just wait until I nearly get counted out, and then I'll just beat him up more while I'm waiting.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really smart move, but, yeah, really crucially, it was that rebuilding phase for Nakamura, who had a pretty lousy second half of 2018.
Bad, wasn't it?
And I don't think his WWE Championship attempt run at AJ really did him any favors.
No.
I think that from WrestleMania onwards, he was on a bit of a downward spiral. I'd say the Money in the Bank match they had, which I believe was their last man standing match, was the best of their series.
Yeah.
But it really was just a steady decline. And I don't think the US title win did much for him. The United States of America, which just wasn't given any TV time. He won the belt and then wasn't featured on TV. Well, we've heard that before. And then he got into a random tag team with Rusev because, well, you're both foreign.
Yeah.
You can't be baby faces.
No, it's bad.
I was Attitude Era podcast Patreon are reviewing Triple H's semi-autobiography, but it's also a bit of a workout book. And he talks about when he joined the WWF, and when he was in WCW, because he was Jean-Paul, he had a sort of like a bit of a French gimmick to him. And what Vince wanted was to completely carry over the character and carry over the name, but didn't want him to do the French bit because, quote, we may want to turn you babyface at some point.
That's such a Vince thing.
Such a Vinceism. That's amazing. Great. But anyway, back to this. I thought this was a great way to rehab Nakamura, someone who really, really needed it. And I can't wait to see these two go at it again on pay-per-view.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, this really made me excited for a pay-per-view match between the two. They were given a decent amount of time in this one as well. It wasn't a very, it wasn't like a super quick match. Like you said, we had the shouldn't screen ad break, so it got a decent amount of time. Both of them looked good in the match. Obviously, they're both really good wrestlers, shockingly. There were some really nice inventive spots in there as well. It was great. I really want to see him in a pay-per-view match.
Yeah, I completely agree. Backstage, we had Shane McMahon with his Omni Shane trio of Drew and Elias. Elias there to me. He's going to write a special funeral song for The Undertaker. Standard heel stuff. Yeah. And then they said, we had Roman exactly where we wanted him yesterday until Cedric got in the way. And I was like, lads, you won! You won at the end. You stood tall.
Drew literally said, oh, don't worry, Cedric's getting what's coming to him. You already gave it to him. You claymore him yesterday.
You left him with a bloody mouth. You won, mate.
You already won.
Already rewriting this storyline. And then Dolph walks up, and that's where we get the where Shane makes the match of Dolph versus Roman tonight. Hype package for Joe versus Kofi, where they blurred out Kofi's middle finger.
They did. I thought that was very good. Sorry, one little bit I was going to say about that previous promo before we got into the Joe Kofi stuff. There was one tiny, tiny piece of continuity from WWE here. When Dolph walks away after he's made the match of Dolph versus Roman, Shane turns back to the rest of them and goes, really like that, Dolph. And Drew just goes, hey, he's all right. Because they feuded. It was a whole thing. Oh, yeah, they were together.
He eliminated Drew from the Royal Rumble,
right?
Which was never followed up on. And they were tag champs last year.
They were. The year before. 2017?
Last year? Last year.
Drew came back in 2017.
But I thought they were the tag. I thought they were a tag team last year.
Years are the same year.
Because they were together with the Dogs of War with Braun Strowman, which was last year because that was Hell in a Cell where Braun came back. Where Brock came back.
Yeah, so maybe last year, but they were together and then they split up and then they sort of feuded and then they didn't. I just thought it was nice for Drew to just be like, he's all right.
Nice bit of continuity.
Yeah.
Bit of a shame, moving back to the Joe Kofi thing, that Kofi's currently dealing with an injury at the moment, although PW Insider is saying that he's going to be better he's going to be able to wrestle this Sunday, so that match isn't in question.
Yeah, it seems he has some quote-unquote back issues, but they don't seem too serious. So.
But the problem with it was, sorry to cut you off there, the problem with it is that they couldn't really do a big hot angle to sell you on, and it really makes it feel like a lot of Kofi's championship feuds since Mania haven't really meant a lot.
No.
This is... I mean, you could say I'd actually say it's the fourth most important match on the card, below the intergender tag match, the tag match with Taker and Roman, and Braun and Bobby.
Ooh,
so it's fourth on there. And actually, with TV time, it's probably fifth below Bayley versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross.
Yeah, that's true.
So actually, at this point, it's like the fifth most important match on a card. And this final build for that really cements it, where it was just Joe cut a promo and Kofi cut a promo later, and that was that.
Yeah.
It really does feel like a mid-card title at the moment.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. And it's not their fault, because I think if Kofi could wrestle, I have faith that they would have done something more impactful than a promo. But having said that, Joe's promo was bloody amazing.
As is always, he's a very good at a promo.
Such a good... Stick him on the list of good promos.
That's true.
God, Joe is so... I don't care what he's saying. He can make it intimidating. He will make it so you buy everything that he's saying. I love Joe as a promo. He's so good.
Actually, on that as well, we completely missed off the list, Daniel Bryan.
Oh, yeah, of course.
He had a great promo later on in this show. And Woods and Big E and Kofi as well.
Oh, they're all really good as well.
Very good promos within WWE. Don't always see it.
Yeah.
Then we got, speaking of possibly the fourth most important match on this Extreme Rules card, Nikki Cross and Bayley came out for a contract signing for their 2-on-1 handicap match. Nikki Cross was representing Alexa Bliss, so I guess by her signing, Alexa Bliss is also signed because she hasn't signed a contract for the match that she's a part of.
I think there was a point where Bayley just said, like, are you going to sign for Alexa? It was never brought up again, so...
And I mean, there's almost no point in recapping this because the pair of them said the exact same verbiage we've now heard for 2 months. I am done with this storyline.
Alexa's manipulating you.
No, she's not. She's my friend.
Not.
You wouldn't know what a friend is like. I do. Alexa's I'm done with this feud. And it sucks because it's across both shows.
I know.
And it's just, I'm totally done with it.
And Bayley saying really stupid lines on top of it, just being like, I know I'm at impossible odds at a 2-on-1 handicap match. Impossible odds? Shut up! You're not! Guy, it was.
I did not.
The storyline sucks.
This was my least favorite segment on the show by leaps and bounds.
Easily my least favorite.
I do not like this storyline. I cannot wait for it to be over.
Yeah.
And I'm totally done with it. And actually, I don't know why Alexa Bliss hasn't been on TV this week, but having no Alexa Bliss within this feud where she is the main character really, really is hurting it.
Yeah, it really is. I don't know where I saw this, so don't take this with a massive pinch of salt because this isn't official by any means. I saw something that Alexa might be ill or something like that, which is why she's not been around. Like, normally if you're injured, you can still be on TV, but I think she's been ill, so they've been keeping her off TV.
She was not backstage at Raw.
That's what I heard, that she wasn't backstage at Raw, but I didn't hear that she was ill.
I can't remember where I've seen that, though. It might have just been like a random tweet, so take that with a massive pinch of salt.
Randy is on that for us at the moment.
Googling live on air.
And it led to a match between Nikki and Carmella, which Nikki won.
Yeah.
Nikki won with a neck breaker.
Yeah. That was good. Nikki, I think, debuted a new catchphrase, which is awful. Which was the last line she said to Bayley before Carmella came out for a match was, "You'll see that when it's time to play, Nikki gets all the fun."
Yeah,
that's bad.
That is no good.
That's really bad.
Update from Randy Andy Dawson.
Mike Johnson of PW Insider Elite is saying that she was actually backstage, just not used, because she's feeling a bit under the weather. But there's no suggestion there's nothing to suggest that she won't be there on Sunday.
That's good.
They finally recapped the Kabuki Warriors beating the Iconics from 2 weeks ago in Japan. And then we got Royce and Kay walking out of their locker room, and Paige and the Kabuki Warriors are waiting for them and said, we want to make a match official, but Royce said that Kay is sick, and Paige calls them clowns, and then said the match is coming, but there's no announcement of when that's going to be because I don't think the writers care enough to plot
really
that
don't.
out.
No, Paige slaps Billy Kay, and then they all like scrub and go, "Whoa," and then she was like, "Hey, weren't you sick?" And they were like, "Yes," and then they walk off. It wasn't great.
So the story is, and this is not like a rumored thing, this is straight from their mouths, but the Bella Twins were meant to be the first challengers to the Iconics after WrestleMania. In fact, the story goes is they put the belts on the Iconics so that the Bellas could come back and have a feud with them. But then because Nikki can't really wrestle now because she's a bit too banged up, and Bree's retired herself, but this, that, and the other, she was wrestling last year, but I don't think she wants to be doing too much of it. Those plans fell through, and apparently they had no backup plans. So that is why the Iconics have not been featured in a feud since Wrestle Bloody Mania, which was, 3 pay-per-views ago now?
Stomping Grounds, Super Showdown, Money in the Bank. Yeah. So 3.
And 4 Extreme Rules, so nothing on the card for
Extreme
that.
Rules, yeah.
I mean, granted, they weren't allowed a Super Showdown. So let's say 3 for now, including Extreme Rules. But that sucks. Genuinely, what was the point of putting the belts on them? Obviously, apart from the Bellas thing. So it sucks. Really upset.
I don't understand that either. And I know I might get some flack for this, I would have actually enjoyed seeing the Bellas go up against the Iconics. I think that would have been a fun little one pay-per-view cycle feud.
It would have been good promo work.
And it would have cemented the Iconics as women's tag team champions.
If they won.
Which I assume,
they wouldn't.
Fingers crossed, they would.
Let's be honest, Pete. They wouldn't have done.
They would. I have faith. But then to not have any other women's tag teams at all ready to face the Iconics. You have several. You had 4 in the match at WrestleMania. Pick one of them. Any of them.
The bizarre thing is they did set up a storyline between the Iconics and the Kabuki Warriors, but then just dropped it.
Yeah.
And then they set one up with Fire and Desire, and then just dropped it.
I don't understand.
Genuinely
don't understand. It's almost as if they shouldn't have done Women's Tag Team Championships because they don't have enough time each week to get all the belts on the show.
Speaking of which, 24/7 belt wasn't on this show either.
Yes, it was.
Was it?
Oh, yes, it was. I'll point it out later.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a tiny little cameo. It was great.
Becky was on the cover, or is on the cover rather, of ESPN magazine with Alison Brie of Glow. Looking forward to the new season of Glow because I think Glow is terrific.
I think I haven't watched season 2 yet. I think I'm on the last episode of season 1.
Oh, that's
I want to
good.
say, yeah,
That's good.
and then I need to catch up.
While I'm also on my recommendations, season 3 of Stranger Things is Chef's Kiss. Not at the start. I would say it really gets going in the final 3 episodes. Final 3 or 4 episodes, I would say.
Are you one of those guys where it's like, if you stick with it, it will get better?
Unlike, I think season 1 and 2, they just get off with a bang. And season 3, I wasn't massively keen on the choices that they made. And it's weird that they all have adult voices now.
Yeah.
But the last 4 episodes are brilliant. Really, really good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and it was better than the recap of the main event of Raw, which were dumb. I'm still sticking with that. I know I got a lot of flack for it yesterday. And a lot of flack on Twitter for people saying, you're an idiot. The main event segment made all the sense because Cedric stopped Roman being beaten down. My argument to that is Roman was on the outside beaten up and they pinned Cedric in the ring. If they wanted to, they could have continued beating both of them down because they won.
Yeah. I mean, the point of the match, and you could make the argument that the point of Shane choosing Roman's partner is so that Shane and Drew wanted to beat up Roman in preparation for Sunday. Sure, Cedric, quote-unquote, stopped them from beating up Roman, but he still lost and now has no momentum going into Sunday, and they still beat up Roman in the match, so...
Also, if your plan was just to beat up Roman Reigns because you had an old janitor on the outside, why did you start beating up the janitor? I know you're heels and that, but really, Cedric's plan relied on them trying to beat him up.
Yeah, and also, if your plan was to beat up Roman in a tag match, why not just do a handicap match?
Another great point from Pete Quinnell. Speaking of Roman Reigns, he was backstage with Not Renee, and this is now 2 shows in a row where Roman has cut very sleepy promos.
Yeah.
This was an absolutely nothing. He said nothing here. He just said, I'll be there Sunday. Shane and Drew will rest in peace.
I genuinely, I've just looked at my notes. I haven't written a word of what Roman said because I genuinely couldn't tell you.
He didn't say anything.
No. Although I will say that Not Renee, she was really excited to introduce Roman. She was really excited. She's like, guys,
work.
It's Roman Reigns, everyone. It's like, oh my God, all right.
Well, everyone was just stunned that he was there. Roman's here?
On SmackDown?
I am shocked.
What are you doing here?
They nice little botch. They played New Day's music before Big E did his intro.
It was great.
But this was a fun little promo segment where you had Big E and Woods in the ring, and Big E said that this isn't what he had in mind when he heard he was in a 3-way this Sunday.
Heyo.
Heyo! Knob joke.
And then he said that after this Sunday, though, all 3 of them can touch their championship tips.
Hey!
Hey!
Knob jokes. And then Brian and Rowan came out next, and Brian was awesome.
He's great, isn't he?
So good. He was just like, you guys are not taking this seriously. You guys are a joke. You may be some of the best athletes in WWE. You may have had some of the best tag matches, but no one takes you seriously because you don't take yourself seriously.
Yeah.
I thought this was a great promo from Brian.
You don't get out of the mid-card because everyone treats you like a comedy act because that's what you are. It's like, oh,
great line.
Awesome.
So good. But Woods wants to hear from Rowan. It's just like, you were led by Bray, you were led by Harper, now you're led by Brian. We just want to know who your daddy is.
Hey!
And the crowd did chant, who's your daddy?
Who's your daddy?
So yeah, it really would.
Which was great, yeah.
And Heavy Machinery came out, and poor old Tucker had some terribly scripted stuff.
It wasn't good, was it?
Oh, bless his heart. Because he's the promo guy.
Supposedly.
Well, no, he is, because Otis, Otis's strength on promos is not saying a lot.
Just saying his catchphrases.
Exactly. And just going like, Tucky, and we're coming!
Yeah.
Like that's all you need to have him do. So then Tucker has to do all of the bulk of it, but they give him just this stuff. We are blue collar solid. That means X, Y, and Z. We're going to be champions. Ba-da-da. Ha-da-ba-da. We're coming! And that's a promo segment for the Heavy Machinery. I feel bad for Tucker. I'm not blaming him. It's not his fault.
Yeah, it's really not. And it was some pretty stunted delivery, but I think some of it was okay. Some of it was a bit just like,
yeah.
Come on, let's get into the match now.
He's not as good as Daniel Bryan or The New Day.
No, exactly.
And I did enjoy Otis, though, when he said they're going to be the WWE champions. He did it in the same style as New Day, as Woods would do. It was like, WWE. I really enjoyed that. It was fun.
That was great.
And it led to a three-way, a very fun three-way between Otis, Bryan, and Xavier Woods. But... So there was there wasn't even outside interference. The people on the outside had a brawl, and then they were like, well, this match is going to have to be restarted. And I'm like, okay, so it's an ad break. And then they went to a shrink screen. So the match just could have continued. They could have just wrestled during the shrink screen like Balor and Nakamura did earlier in the show. Mm-hmm. They didn't need to restart the match.
I didn't pick up on the whole restarting thing. Because I was watching the match and there was the outside brawl and they all got ejected and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then I went to a shrink screen and I was like, cool, I'm still going to wrestle through the thing. And I was watching through the shrink screen, wasn't really paying attention. I guess I missed that bit.
Whether it was just Todd Phillips has just become so used to saying it that he just said it because, I guess the match is restarting. I didn't understand why we still had to have a shrink screen while the match was being restarted. Anyway, we came back. That's where the real fun action kicked in. You had the bell lock on Otis. Otis running wild and he hit the Caterpillar. Crowd going really big for the Caterpillar. It's really good stuff. And then you had this big old gut buster by Woods on Daniel Bryan, which looked amazing. But Otis hit the compactor slam for the win. Aside from the stupid restart, I thought that was a lot of fun.
It was a really fun match. There was a great spot right at the start of the match where Otis showed some great strength, where Bryan and Woods attempted to do a double suplex to Otis. He counters it by suplexing them up. Big vertical suplexes, delays it for a second, and then drops both of them. I was like, that is awesome. It was great.
Randy's got his hand
Andy
up.
Datson.
Australia did have an ad break, apparently.
Oh, no, yeah, we all get ad breaks. It's just in America, you get the shrink screen
You get the shrink screen one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
They recapped Owens turning babyface last week, and then we got what I think is WWE's blandest feud, which is Ember Moon and food, I guess. Because this feud always seems to be centered around food. And Fire and Desire walk up and they cut the cue. They talk about Twitter or something. And they challenge Ember to find a tag partner for next week. And Moon says she can't find one, she'll beat them on her own.
Yeah.
Really, really bland.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It was better than fighting over donuts or something, but it still wasn't great. This was the cameo of the 24/7 Championship. They were at the catering table or whatever. There's right at the start of the promo, you can just see Drake Maverick just peering out from underneath the table and then scooting back in.
Very nice.
It was great. It was a great little moment.
I guess in the promo between Ember Moon and Fire and Desire just sort of sucked out all of my memory of the whole thing. So at the end of it, I was like, I have no idea what happened in that scene.
Also, I still don't know if they're teasing that lesbian storyline between Mandy and Sonya, but there was a tiny little moment in this promo where Ember was talking about beating Mandy last week or whenever it was, and then Sonya just goes, "Well, we've already moved past that, and it actually brought us closer together." And then they have this tiny little look between them, just a little, and then they continue their promo. And I was like, is that a tease, or is that just them waiting for the next line?
Or is it they are trying to make their own interesting storyline out of this very bland
We're just going to push our own story here, guys.
Prince Ali cut a promo as well. Another great promo. It's talking about how he's faced monsters and demons as a cop, and he'll do it again if they want to dance. And it's a great line at the end. He said, "Evil only wins if you don't show up for a fight."
It was awesome. Great
so
stuff.
Good.
I really like his character as well. Just hey, everyone's got their own demons, and I'm going to help you fight them.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's pretty good. I'd imagine some people might think this will lead to a Balor feud, talking about demons. But I don't know, because he's tied up with Nakamura, so I don't know. The last one, when Buddy Murphy, quote-unquote, debuted on SmackDown, he did challenge Ali.
He did.
So maybe they are going to do an Ali-Buddy Murphy feud, but I really think that was just... we're making this up as we go along.
Pretty much, yeah. And I mean, this only happens once Shane McMahon gets off TV, which could be another year yet. Yeah.
So. It was Ali, Buddy Murphy in the dark match last night. So.
Yeah, I think they've been doing house show matches and they've been doing dark matches, just not on the main show.
Todd Phillips had a split-screen interview with Aleister Black, but they said both men have signed the contracts. We were meant to find out who Aleister Black's Extreme Rules opponent was. But then they said that he's chosen not to reveal himself at this time. But then he did reveal himself.
Which
and it was
really,
Cesaro.
Which was
very
really
weird.
Stupid reveal a bit. But
very weird.
It's Cesaro. And I'm okay with that.
Do you know what? And I honestly, I don't care. I say this in my review that I could scream and shout and I could nitpick and I could complain that it's a Raw versus SmackDown match and what's the point when we could give some SmackDown guys a bit of time to shine. But we're getting Aleister Black versus Cesaro on pay-per-view and I am A-okay with that.
Yeah, I just really hope that I don't really mind who wins out of this. I'd rather Black wins. I'd be perfectly okay with Cesaro winning. All I want from their match is they're given enough time and they both look good coming out of it. That's what I want.
I think Black's got to win this.
Yeah,
but Black seemed very happy about the choice that it's Cesaro as well. I think it's going to be... There is a potential for that to steal the show.
Absolutely, yeah. And something I'll say about Aleister Black as well is I never thought in NXT his promo work was too strong. His promo work has skyrocketed since he's gone on the main roster.
Really good.
He's got some real, like, Heath Ledger Joker vibes about him now. After he found out it was Cesaro and he was saying, "Oh, I'm here to pick a fight with you," and Black just goes, "Oh, don't worry, I will fight you on Sunday." And he had this real like intense look, and his voice got all gravelly, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is awesome!"
Wicked. Very, very cool. Shelton Benjamin, still don't get what this is. Backstage, he was asked about Roman and Dolph, and then he says this creepy eye thing. I don't know what this is.
I don't understand.
Who are these people that keep asking Shelton Benjamin what he thinks about the main events of the show?
It's literally just like, do you think Dolph Ziggler can finally prove that it should have been him? And he just looks off, and then there's no audio, but he still goes, "Well," and then walks off.
I don't know.
What is this?
In another odd little segment as well, Braxton was backstage, and Heyman just walked past her.
See, I don't mind this, because it's a little tease as to what could happen, because she was introducing WWE Champion Kofi Kingston, and then you just had Paul Heyman come right before him, so it's a little tease, maybe Brock could cash in on Kofi. That's a little interesting thing. And then Corey Graves had to ruin everything, but it's like, did you know that Paul Heyman is the advocate for Brock Lesnar? Did you know he could maybe cash in on Sunday? It's like, that was a little subtle tease. Why'd you have to ruin the subtlety of it? Well, come on.
It was, I thought it was odd. It's not how I would have done it. Because,
no, definitely not.
Because like you could say it's a subtle tease, but he didn't walk past Kofi. He walked past Kayla.
He walked past Kayla, who was introducing Kofi.
So unless Brock is cashing in on Kayla... I don't think this was a tease for much, to be honest.
Yeah, I know.
But Kofi just said that he's going to beat Joe. He's inside Joe's head, and he's going to beat him on Sunday.
I thought it was a well-delivered promo.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think Kofi, out of the three of the New Day especially, he can sometimes feel a little bit wooden, but this one I thought he was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and then we had the main event. As I said, I gave it a Smacktastic. I thought this was a really, really, really good show of SmackDown, because there was only one segment on it which I didn't like, which was the Bayley... Nikki Cross stuff, and that's only because I've seen that segment countless times. I've only been back from holiday for like 3 weeks, and I feel like I've seen that segment more than I have anything that was in the build up to WrestleMania. Like it was just it's just going on and on and on.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I thought everything else in the show I really, really enjoyed.
I'd either do a low Smacktastic or a high Smackbang in the middle for this one. I thought, that Nikki Cross Bayley stuff really dragged me down, especially because you then had Nikki Cross and Carmella afterwards as well, which then dragged out my feelings of like, please end this. And I thought the main event was kind of boring, bar the end angle. Ended really well, and I think most of the other stuff was really fun and I liked it. It's just that section, because they happened back to back as well, pretty much, of those two like matches. So,
and also maybe it's a case of like, so I went to go see Spider-Man: Far From Home last night, which I would have given 3 stars to. However, there's an amazing Mysterio sequence in the film that I loved so much, I gave it an extra half star. Maybe that's what it was. Like I enjoyed Kevin Owens on this show so much, I bumped up my rating.
Rey Mysterio was in it.
Shut up, Datsun.
What's in the super chats, Randy?
I went to see Toy Story last night, and
how was it?
Very good. I thought it was... do you know what I really like about Toy Story is that it's basically the same plot every single time. It's toy in peril, save toy. But it's always different. So yeah, I really, really liked it.
Insightful reviews from
No, but
Randy.
I'm not going to spoil it. I just don't want everyone to know that Woody gets melted down into a stick.
Into a stick.
Star Recording says, who would you most have liked to see as WWE champion between Tajiri, Ken Shamrock, and William Regal? I think I already know the answer to this.
Chili Willy Regal.
Reeks.
Yeah, gotta be Reeks.
I did like Tajiri, though. He was always my go-to guy on SmackDown. Here Comes the Pain.
Tajiri's awesome. Then again, so was Ken
with his
Shamrock.
buzzsaw kick.
Yeah.
Ilesy77 says, you guys catch Shane calling KO a cancer.
Yeah, that was
missed
really
that.
strange.
No, I missed that.
I couldn't tell what he was saying, and I couldn't tell if he was calling him a cancer or saying he was cancelled. And I
Right.
rewound it about 3 times because I could not pick up on it. Because Dolph and him were kind of talking over each other, and he was saying, "Oh, he's not a problem. I've sent him home. He's a cancer," or "I've sent him home. He's cancelled." And I couldn't tell which one it was.
And saying he's cancelled makes more sense because
Definitely more sense.
He did say the
Hopefully.
match was cancelled.
Yeah.
So I didn't hear him say cancer. So
it was very strange,
Yeah.
and I could not figure it out for the life of me. But
very weird.
yeah,
One from Blinky Codfish. You know that guy that Ollie can't pronounce, and I can't pronounce it
you
either.
can't pronounce either for some reason.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Hello from Chopper Pete's #1 fan. At least he says my name
Hey.
correctly in the monthly shout-out. He's
You're
much
right,
better
eh?
than Roger Sandwich Guy. And I'm glad he's not here this week.
Oh, was that Ollie Davis?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, is it Blake Carpenter?
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course
yeah.
it is. Come on now.
Sorry.
Get
I
with
mean,
the program.
sorry. I mean, I get it when Ollie does it.
Kenneth Longstreth says WWE hears complaints, but will they listen?
No.
No.
Okay. Start Recording says, what is your ideal SummerSlam main event?
What's your ideal Sunday? I've said it before. It's Shane Kofi for the title.
It's
not. It's
not that.
It's not. I believe this is actually Sky's, like, they're holding a competition for you to win tickets to SummerSlam. The only reason I know this is because my cousin is a Sky user, so he messaged me going like, I really want to go to Toronto, but I don't know about wrestling, so can you answer this question for me?
What's the question?
It was, what's your ideal SummerSlam main event? And so I said it was Seth versus AJ, but
That's
with heel Finn Balor in the club as well.
1 hour Iron Man match.
I am gonna say
Shane Kofi, right? Yeah.
Seth Rollins versus Bray Wyatt.
Shane versus Brock. 1 hour Iron Man. Just the ring is just sodden
That's the
afterwards.
most wrestling Brock Lesnar will have done in 3 years.
That is
combined.
the wettest match
Yeah.
in the entirety of history. Sparks Entertainment says, my bold prediction, Goldberg spears the dead man during their match, setting up a rematch feud for SummerSlam. Bray Wyatt,
Oh,
I
yeah.
expect, won't debut until after
that's
SummerSlam.
great.
That
God,
is
no.
horrible. Sparks, you idiot.
That's great. I like that a lot.
Awful.
Stephen B says, you guys are the best in the world, and then he does a world emoji, which doesn't feature the British Isles.
Oh, that's
What a shame.
Shame.
Anyway, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think we're fine, but thank you very much for your comments.
Zachary Marsh says, it is weird that WWE keeps scripting promos talking about what's wrong with WWE. Just don't make these mistakes in the first place. That is what Pete pointed out earlier.
Thank you very much.
So this man here right
Yeah.
Jason
This man right here
Jimerson says, I'm convinced that WWE can't have a good Raw and SmackDown in the same week. Thoughts?
No, they have done in the past. There was a couple of weeks. It was actually not that long ago either. They had 2 consecutive good shows
And
back
we're
to
all
back.
like, whoa!
Yeah, we really were like,
New
whoa!
WWE, everyone.
Yeah.
KJ says, the push Shane is having should be given to a newcomer. I think the push itself is fine, but with Shane, it's annoying as hell.
Correct.
Correct. Although I'd imagine, even if it was a newcomer, because that newcomer might have been Baron Corbin, so we would have just been bought
Yeah,
that
that's
as well. So it would need to be a newcomer that people can get behind. Because the problem is, once you start to overexpose someone, that's when people start. Because remember, we already liked Shane when he came back. When he came back to face The Undertaker at WrestleMania, we were very excited about it.
We were.
But the problem is that excitement has been drilled out of us because he's on every show across almost every segment.
Yeah.
Christopher Louis says, did anyone notice that Balor said Nakamura can cause chaos? I would love to see an original Bullet Club versus Chaos rivalry spark up in WWE. Your thoughts on that idea?
WWE will never do it.
No.
Because they'll call it something else, like it'll be the Balor Club versus Kerfuffle.
I think they just like
The Artist Guild.
They just like the word chaos because
Yeah.
Sanity were all
Sanity
about the
had it.
chaos as well.
Yeah.
Spikebite Gaming says, can KO be the guy to save WWE? Cole can be for sure. I think he means Adam Cole and
Adam
not
Cole.
Michael.
Well, he might be
Yeah.
Michael Cole. You don't know that. Stop
don't
putting
know.
words into his mouth, Randy.
Yeah.
He might
Or
be a big
Andy
Michael
Cole,
fan.
former footballer.
Yep.
Yeah. Sol Campbell.
Or Joe Cole.
Yeah.
There
Or
you
J.
go.
Cole.
Any
Or
of them.
Carlton Cole.
Anyway, can he be the man to save WWE? I don't know. I'd like to think so, but
maybe
I
for
don't.
about 3 weeks.
I don't think anyone
it
can
3
save
weeks.
it by themselves.
Yeah, give it 3 weeks.
Norris, I love that as a first name. Norris Campbell says, help me pick the black support or Segway shirt.
Sorry now?
The black support Wrestle Talk shirt or the
right.
Segway shirt?
Segway shirt.
Segway shirt. Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
Wrestle Talk shirt.
Adam Shoate Shoot.
Which actually means that was no help whatsoever.
Yeah.
You just told him to...
That's exactly why I said it.
Fine. Segway. Adam
get the
Shoat
deciding
says, since Sasha is coming back Sunday, could you see Bayley lose the belt and then have Sasha meet her in the back and talk Bayley and going after the tag belts once more time?
I would be okay with that, but I would prefer Sasha to cost Bayley the title and have a Sasha Bayley feud, I think.
That brings back awful memories.
But an actual one where Sasha's a heel. Not like some weird both babyface together, not together weirdness. Just bring Sasha back. Bring her back as a proper heel. An actual heel. And have her cost Bayley the title and then...
I almost don't want her to come back ever because then I'll never have to hear Michael Cole shout, "It's boss time!" ever again.
You can say that you want to bring it back now, start that feud, but you wait till they start doing Dr. Shelby segments. And
See, that's what I mean. Not doing any of that crap.
You'll be regretting that choice.
Do stuff properly. Bring back the actual boss.
3 weeks' time, it'll be, Sasha was my best friend.
That's what I don't want to hear. Thank you very much, Andy. That is what we will get. It'll be fine with Sasha, but we'll have to get Bayley talking about friendships and bloody magic and rainbows and ponies and whatnot.
Yeah.
I just want to.
I
just
can't
want to hug her one more time. Anyway,
Why is she Irish?
I just want to hug her one more time. This is my real voice. Bryant Hoyt says, with Finn losing, do you think he may join AJ and the club, or can the club have 2 leaders? I want to see him join and complete the group.
I'd love to see him join as well.
I'd love to see him join.
Yeah.
I don't think he will, but I'd love to see it.
Oh, what a treat. Double Norris Campbells. Who do you think will be the next person WWE will release? I don't think they're going to release anyone. There'll be someone who finishes their contract.
That's exactly it. Yeah, no. There was a story Jim Ross told on a podcast where in an AEW creative meeting, he was like, oh, this guy doesn't get used on WWE TV, but he'd be really good. He's like a solid hand. We can have him work with the guys backstage. We can have him even train people. He'd be really good to have in the company. But he was told, I'm afraid they've literally just signed him to a new 5-year deal for like massive amounts of money for like $500,000 or something. So that's $500,000 for someone they don't put on TV.
Yeah.
So they're not in the process of releasing people.
The next person I think that will be leaving is probably Rusev.
Yeah,
I think.
I'd say so.
Yeah, and he needs to. Norris Campbell says...
Double Norris.
He says, I have you on mute at work. What is this with having us on mute? Email me if you...
They're showing support by drumming up the viewing numbers, but
That's
without
true.
actually having to be there for the stream.
Email me on andy@wrestletalk.com if you to explain to me why you keep having us on mute.
Maybe they just hate us. Maybe they just hate the sound of our voices.
That's true. That's like
Maybe.
looking at us. Jobber JJ says Shane winning the WWE title came from me. It's his idea, apparently.
I don't think you're the first person to have that idea. I've seen a lot of people say that.
Definitely come from WrestleVotes.
The DA, which I assume is Dumbledore's army, says Shane as WWE champ or Boris Johnson as PM. Shane, because that's not real.
Shane.
I mean, you say that, but then it's Jeremy Hunt. And oh man. It really is. It's Alien versus Predator. It's whoever wins, we lose.
No, I know that, but Boris Johnson.
Yeah, or Jeremy Hunt.
I'm Prime Minister.
It doesn't matter either way. I'm going to say Shane as champ.
Yeah, me too.
Shane is champ.
Jeb Sonnen says Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon is 2019. Vince versus Steve Austin.
Well, not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Last $5. What is the stupid fan thing you regret, boys? Stupid fan thing you regret.
The stupid fan thing
What
you regret.
might say what is the stupidest fan thing that you have done?
Yeah, and then hashtag lovely time with the boys.
Lovely
which
time.
is the new name of the WrestleRamble.
Lovely time
Very
with
good.
the boys. What was the first part of that again? I was Kevin Owens and Shane as the new Austin Vince. Yeah, I'd give that some time.
I was going to say,
that's
not
like
close.
Huge levels.
That was the feud that solidified WWE in the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
And this is not that
effectively
yet.
saved the company.
Yeah, and the stupidest fan thing you've ever done. Maybe not for WWE, for just anything you're a fan of, I guess.
Stupidest fan thing I've ever done.
I once shouted out Darren I love you at a CKY gig very, very loudly. And I thought he might hear, and he definitely wasn't going to hear that.
I was at a taping of Raw at the O2 one year, and I saw Matt Stryker backstage
Whoa.
and shouted that I am your teacher at him because that was his old gimmick, and I thought it was funny. It's not funny, but
I
it was at the time.
I once pledged to WrestleTalk on Patreon while working for WrestleTalk.
That's true.
And then Luke was like, you can have the podcast for free because you work here. I was like,
Yeah, at the $25 level, no less, because you got a shout out in the ramp.
Yes.
It's why we love you.
Yeah.
Kailash
Bloody
Chowdhury says, your dream match in WWE right now.
Dream match. Right
now. AJ Seth with AJ as the heel. I'm really into
shout.
AJ as a heel at the moment now, and I think Seth needs a big time Universal Championship feud because he's been stuck in this Baron Corbin vortex for like 6 months or whatever it is. So I could AJ Seth at SummerSlam I think would be a big time match.
Andrade versus Aleister Black.
It's a good shout. Continue.
Cesaro, Adam Cole.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Or actually either that or Keith Lee.
Dijakovic.
Yeah.
Yes, please, mate.
At least that's realistic. Do you guys think Bray arrives after Extreme Rules?
Yes.
And we've been saying this since Money in the Bank. Like, do you think he's going to arrive after blank?
Yes.
Like, at this point, I don't want to make any more predictions on whether Bray's going to show up because I don't know if they have a plan for that.
There was something that I actually reported on the news that you'll see later today. That is that Bray has been backstage for weeks, but the supposed belief is that they want to get Extreme Rules out of the way first before they bring him back. So essentially, he either Raw or SmackDown because they haven't picked a brand yet. Probably after Extreme Rules, we'll be seeing him.
But I will say those exact same reports did come out for Money in the Bank as well. Whereas we want to get Money in the Bank out of the way before we debut him.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Total Blurred, which is a good name, says, felt like a SmackDown show and not so much a Raw replay.
It really was. We
very
only
much
got 2 Raw replays, I think.
2? Or was it 1?
It might have actually only been 1 because it was the dumb main event.
It was Cedric, yeah.
Jet 2012 says, y'all mentioned Roman and Miz storyline reason. Miz turns heel and joins the Omni Shane. Not that we want more Shane.
Yeah,
no,
and it would
don't do that.
It would make literally no sense for Miz to turn heel and align himself with Shane.
I hate my dad too. Carlos Lima says, hey guys, I have a bad feeling that Bray Wyatt will re-debut as the father of Maria Kanellis' unborn child. Hope I'm not wrong. Keep up the great work. Well, like the demon in Game of Thrones, where that one that kills. No, I probably can't spoil it. Can
I? You totally can. It's from like season 3.
Kills Renly.
Anyway, I'm gonna one up that and say that it wasn't Bray, but it was the Fiend.
Oh,
it was Huskus the Pig.
I was gonna say it was Devil Vince. Yeah.
Green Vega Club says Owens versus Shane Hell in a Cell 2.
Oh yeah, they did have a Hell in a Cell match, didn't they? I mean, granted, they had a WrestleMania match, which I completely forgot about.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, maybe.
Sure.
I'm actually. Do you know what? As much as I'm massively into Owens, I really don't want to see him feud with Shane. I want to see him doing anything else but feud with Shane.
HCP Assin says, hey guys, sorry for the change of the topic a bit, but as an avid D&D player, I would love to hear what sort of characters you play as race, alignment, etc., assuming most of you guys play. Shall I answer that first? Because Pete helped me make a character once. What was it? It was an elf.
It was an elf.
Elf wizard called Lusty McSwallow.
Correct. Nice. He came up with the name, not me.
I play a monk. Currently, I'm a human monk because I really like doing the kung fu stuff.
Nice. I'm in 2 campaigns currently. I'm a human paladin in one and a halfling rogue in another.
Cool.
If you want to hear more D&D stories, I highly recommend you subscribe to Ramble Club, which is our Patreon podcast, because we talk about D&D a lot in that because me and Laurie are a part of the same campaign. So we get a lot of.
Ollie just sits there going. Grr.
Well, yeah, Ollie just enjoys hearing the tales that we tell from the campaign that we're currently doing. So we get a lot of questions in about it from our Patreon pledgehammers. So yeah, if you want to hear more, us talk more about D&D, then yeah, Ramble Club's the place to go.
And also, I'm a DM. There's also that.
That's so cool. Yeah. Anthony James says Big E heel turn and Joe to win the title. Reigns and Joe for the SummerSlam and Kofi versus Big E.
Yeah, I was going to say, we haven't had a Big E heel turn for a while. So that's good. That caught me off guard.
That's a good one.
TY Oh So High says, who would
Great
you
name.
have to win the 2020 Royal Rumble?
Oh God, I haven't even thought that far ahead yet.
I mean, that's almost impossible to choose now, like 6 months out.
I'm gonna say the person they said for the 2019 Rumble, Andrade.
Yeah, if you would like purely if you just pick it from this roster, Andrade is a great choice. But
Yeah.
like there might be someone like if Kevin Owens is like catching fire, then you're gonna want to say Owens. Like if he's like on fire by Survivor Series, you're gonna like, well, we definitely want him to win the Royal Rumble.
Hey, do you want to know Sky Bet's top 5 for winning the
Here we
2020?
go.
Number 5, Aleister Black. Number 4, AJ Styles. Number 3, Drew McIntyre. Number 2, Big E. And number 1, Roman Reigns.
It's almost as if they're just making anything
Just
up
making it up.
to extort money out of people.
Yeah.
What? No, it's not gonna happen.
Crazy.
Yeah. What is this, a FIFA game?
Jason Mass,
Lip
thank you for your
boxes.
donation. Jobber JJ says, if booked well, babyface KO versus heel Joe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could go for that.
Love it.
Yeah.
Especially because Joe loves targeting families. That's kind of Kevin's whole thing is about his family.
Yeah.
It works. Writes itself.
That's true.
Yeah.
Bucky the Ace Ventura says, thanks for the compliment, Luke.
You're welcome.
You and Ollie made me sign up as a Patreon. We didn't make you. we said you can, and you did. So thank you very much. And you guys are the highlight of my mornings.
Thank you
Well, thank
so
you very
much, man.
much.
That really means a lot
So
to
you,
me.
Pete.
Yeah, I know, but I'm still saying thank you because he's now a patron.
Thank you so much,
Michael
it really means a lot.
Dominguez says, hey, Wrestle Friends, what is the best WWE tag team right now? Should we merge the belts? My favorite is the Usos.
I'm going to say the Revival, and yes, we should merge the tag divisions together.
I'm also saying the Revival, and yes, we should.
And Fire and Desire. Elijah Whitfield says, the Iconics could have had a filler feud with Banks and Bailey, but Banks bowed out. That could have filled time... airtime. Go Kabuki Warriors. Or
I mean,
something.
yeah, they could have done Banks and Bailey, but Banks had to leave. But they could have also done Beth and Natalia. They could have done the Kabuki Warriors. They could have done Fire and Desire. They could have done so many other things.
Yeah, really.
Marcus Roman says, loving WrestleRamble. Suck that I had to wake up at 7 a.m. You don't have to.
Well,
Or maybe you did for work.
Exactly, yeah.
yeah, I was going to
Wait,
say
wait,
that
he's got us on mute.
those two things might not be related.
No, that's
Seven's
true.
seven's a beautiful lie-in for me.
I woke up at 7:30 today. It was nearly 7:45. I was like, whoa, what's happened here?
Me and the wife got back from the cinema last night, and it was like 11 o'clock, and I was like, crikey, what are we still doing awake?
Way past my bedtime.
But anyway, thank you so much. Great, the table. Thank you so much for joining us. Flip the table, I'm so happy.
Tomo with one of his
Tomo.
characteristically ridiculous donations says, hello WrestleTalk people, how are you guys doing today? Sending love to all the SWAF Nation.
Thank you,
I am
yeah.
very hot.
Yeah, it's very hot
I
in
am
here,
sweaty.
but
is
I'm
what I
feeling
am.
pretty good, and I'm playing D&D tonight, so I
Yes.
am
Nice.
all
I
excited.
am rushing home because people keep getting injured. Dartrain24 says, never get to watch live, however, get a root canal and then find out they worked on the wrong tooth.
Oh, no!
Tooth pull and root canal. Oh my god. Dartrain. Oh.
No!
That is the worst. I've never
That's
had one, but from what
Oh,
I've
no,
heard,
root canals are terrible.
I've had just normal like fillings, and they're bad enough. So my god.
Root canals suck. I had to have one last year.
A moment's silence for Dartrain.
Anyway, yeah.
Right,
Good
Marth.
podcast material there.
We did say it was going to be a moment of silence.
Sorry,
admittedly.
Mr. Train. Brian Hoyt says, however, if Belvedere winds up being Ember Moon's Belvedere, I will be pumped. Street Profits are already up, so it makes sense that his wife is next, right?
Maybe he means Belair, as in Bianca Belair, but
Oh, okay.
also
Belair.
correct, turned it into
Yeah,
Belvedere.
to
I was just about
Belvedere.
to Google Belvedere WWE.
Yeah. I was going to say Belvedere is the chicken from Good Mythical Morning, but
Whatever that is.
yeah.
Bianca Belair, I think she's better as a heel.
Yeah, she's better as a heel, and I don't want her on the main roster yet.
no.
So,
Chris Jenkins, who is Infinite Crisis,
Yes,
I
he
think.
is.
After his promo, Ali and Bray Wyatt versus Bray Wyatt confirmed.
No, it's,
it's actually kind of true. They are polar opposites, but I don't think they're going to go in a feud yet.
yeah. And if they are, I want it to be way, way down the line.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, Jebson, and I'm not doing that to myself. I just have wrestler's leg syndrome, and my leg shakes a lot. Austin Tussey says, Club versus Undisputed Era at Survivor Series. What are your thoughts?
Sorry, Club versus the
Club
Undisputed
versus
Era.
Undisputed Era. It won't happen.
No,
but
it won't
would
happen, but yeah,
it'd be fun.
It'd be fun.
I'm going to stop shaking my leg now.
do it a lot.
Marcus
shake your leg a
Roman says, still waiting for Bray Wyatt to show up, but fun fact, not sure if you already knew this, the names of the puppets actually spells harm.
Abby,
Huskus,
Abby,
Rampant
Rabbit.
Mercy and
Mercy.
Mercy the bird raptor. Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Cool. That's nice.
It also spells... No, I can't think of anything else.
Harm her.
Dustin S. Gooding says, love the Wrestle Talk, love the Swaff Nation, even sort of like Randy. Can't wait for Sasha Banks to return and turn heel on Bayley. Bayley Sting is coming.
Bayley Sting!
It's going to get Bayley promos.
Do
you know what? I didn't even think about this.
If it leads to Bayley Sting, all for it.
I saw someone come up with a great suggestion that said that whoever loses Wrestle League Season 2 should do Bayley's theme song, but dressed as Bayley Sting. That is pretty terrific.
That's
I
great.
quite like that song.
It's a great theme song,
It
to be
is.
honest.
Sparks Entertainment says, I used to have it in my work playlist. Sparks Entertainment says, Lynch and Rollins will win, and then Brock cashes in only for Becky to low blow him, and Rollins stop. To be fair, that's not a bad
That's
shout.
actually quite possible.
Just get it off Brock, yeah.
Yeah.
Not the worst thing in the world.
Jez says, oh my god, sorry Andy, I didn't know. It's fine. Mum hates it, Dad hates it, girlfriend hates it, you all hate it.
We all hate
I'm
it.
really sorry. Heavy Metal Mike says, was at the show last night. Best match was the only Lorcan versus Daivari Anything Goes match on 205 Live. I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
I heard it was very good. It's
Oh.
just a shame that no one will watch it.
I just had a random thought that I didn't mention on the main thing. Shinsuke Finn Balor, it might be building to a Falls Count Anywhere match because Shinsuke was so determined to get a count out victory. Don't know if that's something that they're going to do. Just thought I'd mention it. Cool. Carry on.
I will carry on. Firefly Punhouse says, a tag team featuring Ember Moon and Carmella should be called the Moonwalkers. Yeah, but it also shouldn't be a thing.
I like that. I mean, it's a terrible idea to put them together, but yeah, at least the name works.
Mrs. S, I have a feeling that it will continue till Survivor Series and be Team Shane with Drew Zig and Revival versus Team Roman, Miz, Taker, KO, and Cedric.
Oh, that's so possible.
So possible, actually, and those teams make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
A terrible amount of sense.
Cedric gets eliminated first and just goes, no,
no, because the face you pulled there is a face of oops.
Sorry.
Actually, it should be like, hey, we got him.
Got him. Am I right, guys?
We won. Maybe that's his new gimmick. He doesn't know.
And it's better than Shelton Benjamin.
Jobber JJ says, that should be a tag team. Jobber JJ says, I predicted on your Super Saudi, so before WrestleVote said anything about... Oh, 1 second, I started feeling really faint.
You all right?
Try not to, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're all right.
I'm all good. I've got this.
You okay?
You got
Pepsi Max.
It's very hot in
great.
here. Mrs. S says, maybe Cedric Alexander was on Raw as his way to steal some time before, so he will join OmniShane, maybe start a trend of frustrated wrestlers.
So the frustrated wrestlers who want more TV time join Shane, who's stopping them from getting TV time.
Yeah, perfect.
Hey, man, that's WWE logic for you.
If you can't beat him, join him.
You get to sign up to be like Shane's kid for the day.
Yeah.
Timothy Jones says, who is your go-to Smash Bros. And Mario Kart character?
I haven't played a Smash Brothers game since Melee, but then it was Dr. Mario.
I haven't really played Ultimate much, but I'd say Kirby, and it's always Waluigi and everything else.
Yeah, I think it's Donkey Kong in Mario Kart.
Princess Peach, because she's really pretty. George Comport
God, you're such a nerd.
says, really enjoy your content. Thanks. Well, we enjoy you, George.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much.
Edgar Dominguez, which is a great name, says nothing but thank you for your donation.
Thank you very much.
Devante Lee says, when you guys used to talk about the Iconics, I would roll my eyes because they were annoying, but man, I get it now. Thank you for opening my eyes.
It's just a shame they're never on TV these days.
No,
That's
yeah.
true. They are never on TV.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder, though, so maybe they'll
you
get
got the wrong
better
camera as well,
in
Randy.
time.
Do I?
Yeah, it's just you,
Yeah,
mate.
I was just looking at stuff.
It was thrilling TV for people.
Collins Guilfoy, who is Collins the Jobber, who even says Collins the Jobber here. Already a pledge hammer. Q question: if Sasha is training in Japan, do you see her returning as a heel or face?
I think actually a lot of people are thinking that she might come back as a heel. I think that might be a possibility.
It's definitely her best character.
It is her best character, absolutely. We've
It
been
is.
saying that for like, since day dot, really. My problem is that as Andy pointed out earlier, it's going to lead to a lot of Bailey promos of "she used to be my friend," which I don't think it's not going to do Bailey any favors.
Yeah. I want it to be a heel, but I don't want it to turn heel on Bailey, because then we have the Bailey promos. So I'd rather she just comes back as a heel and does something different.
And we have two more, and I'll swap them around because I love the last one so much. TJ Ridgway says, with Finn referencing Chaos in his promo, who would be a good stable for Shin? Kushida, because he's Japanese.
Akira Tozawa.
Yeah, no, I'm not into Shinsuke Nakamura having a stable. I don't think he needs
How
one.
about
I don't think he needs
Sheamus,
one.
Rusev, Cesaro, and Wade Barrett?
Let's not forget Alberto Del Rio in that mix either.
And Andrade. Stick him in there too.
Who else is foreign?
Yeah.
And Anthony James suggests that we should replace the 2 out of 3 falls for the Punjabi prison every week. Which I just think is great.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Why not?
Oh, thank you so much for all of your suggestions and comments and super chats. We bloody love each and every one of you. And we very much love our Patreon pledge hammers. And it's time to shout out some of those Patreon pledge hammers at the $25 and above level. If you want to join this illustrious group, like Randy once was, then head on over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk and become a pledge hammer today, like these fine folk. Scott Howard the Duck. He's funnier than Deadpool.
Praise him, Jonathan Prieston.
Praise him like you
Praise
should.
Crinius the Killer Clown.
Ooh, spooky. Damian Wayne, Wilson Fisk.
Yeah.
Tantalizing Travis Magtalo.
Yeah,
Nice.
he is
Good
tantalizing.
pronunciation.
Shimmy Gangot, Zachary Robert Crowley Barrow.
Much
Nice.
better than mine.
Boom, boom. Colt Sample.
Yes. Duncan. Just Duncan.
It's a reference to saying very obscure in 2000s.
Butter me up, Sir Nord.
Nice.
Nice, yep.
They are only known as Team LOL.
Nice.
Robert Spencer. Period.
Nice.
Yes.
Good Monster Brand impersonation.
Ryan B. Bad.
Ryan B.
Ryan B.
Bad.
So bad.
You son of a bitch. Dylan Tyrrell Reeve.
Yeah. Go on, Dylan.
Shower Lurker, which is still weird. Jacob Bates.
But the surname makes
it's a
it make
reference.
sense.
And
Psycho.
finally, it's King George Phillips.
Who we have seen a couple of times at the Prince Charles Cinema.
We
Thank
have.
you
He's a
very,
great
very
guy.
much. Thank you to all of you wonderful, wonderful people. Thank you for watching. And if you're watching this on catch up, click the video that has just appeared on the desk to catch up with the latest Wrestle Talk awesome things. And this button right here, which will make you a pledge hammer on Patreon. Remember to get your copy of the Wrestle Talk Almanac by going to WrestleTalk.BigCartel.com. I've been Luke Cohn. That's been Chopper Pete Quinnell. That was Randy Andy Datson. And that, we're rambling. It were rambling. It
That
were
was Smackdown.
rambling.